Oovla Lotuk friends, and you are friends. Welcome back to Trekking the Future. I'm Joshua Hadley, and as always, I'm joined by Lord Justin Belanger of the Principality of Sealand.
Yes, hello, I am a lord. That's not with an E. There's no E at the end. I'm not her. That's a different person. But I am also a
Yeah.
lord. Um, and we're here for episode 3 of season 2, Trek in the Future.
And I had a very fun May Day. Was Thursday.
Hmm.
Um, Decided to not go into work, but I made this cute flyer. If you could see it
Mm.
up here. Sorry, I need to figure out
I,
the
I think I see it. I think I see what you're. There you
yeah
go. There you go.
that one. And I just noticed I put my flyer up yesterday because I've been putting my flyers up. Like, there's my Earth Day one. There's the one for the Regenerative Planet Summit that we advertise on this podcast. A Chess Club
Yes.
flyer. And I just noticed, like, because I have a DSA calendar
Yeah.
up here too,
Mm.
and um, that and you can't really see it, like, on my screen here
Yeah.
because it's small and far away. But I have a wrench theme on my
Mm.
well, I could we got a minute before we start reviewing the episode.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a little man here, an introduction, the
Yeah, I decided to
introducing
make
of
a
ourselves.
flyer for everyone at work. I noticed like I got a wrench here. Of course, there's a wrench there, so I have a
There you
wrench
go.
theme for this
Nice,
month
nice.
on my wall.
You know that one guy in the Mario games likes to pop out of the ground and throw wrenches.
Yeah,
Sneaky,
at
sneaky
least
little
he
bastard.
wasn't green though.
True. That guy spits out spikes, spiky balls, and throws them.
Yeah, that's worse.
They're both throwing. They're very similar enemies. They both like spit something out, well, pick up something and throw it, and it
Yep,
kind of the height that the thing gets sort of varies each time it's thrown.
absolutely. And another thing, after doing that, I watched Bernie Sanders' speech in Philadelphia. That
Nice.
was great. Well, good speech. I mean, wasn't the cross of gold, but very good. Love Bernie,
Mm.
even if he's wrong sometimes, like about Petrus. It's not that one. And decided was watching YouTube videos and decided to impulsively burn a pallet for May Day for that tradition.
Mm.
They mute my phone while I'm talking to you, and met some people from Puerto Rico and Hawaii. That was exciting.
Mm. Hawaii. Interesting.
So so now that we've talked about your favorite holiday, May Day, let's get into this episode.
Yeah, so this is what is it called? Tomorrow and tomorrow and
Tomorrow,
tomorrow.
tomorrow, and tomorrow.
Episode 3 of season 2 of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. Um, it was a interesting episode, fun. I think because we had kind of like a they weren't actually like cops or anything, but it kind of had like the vibes of like a buddy cop kind of situation.
Oh yeah,
Um, where it's Lon, yeah, Lon, uh,
yeah,
basically gets put in like a different universe where Mr. William Shatner, Mr. Younger William Shatner, is in charge, and they end up
yep,
on Earth, on just actual
yep.
straight up Earth in Canada, and they
In
have to,
Toronto, right?
yeah, in
I've been
Toronto,
there.
and they have to figure out what happened that changed the timeline and prevent it from happening in,
Yep.
in Toronto.
Um, and well, we'll get to this later. It was a pretty cool. Someone runs in to the hallway of the starship with like bullet wound for whatever reason. Like, what's going on? And yeah, Leon ends up in Kirk's. Well, this James D. Kirk's reality where
Yeah.
everything's messed up, and then they end up going back in time to where the two different realities converge. Like, here's what where it all changed.
Should have been like I believe 2022 because yeah, she
Oh
mentions
yeah,
that she like
I wonder. I
something was
forgot
supposed to
about that.
happen in 1992, but she'd been there for 2 decades, different character. So yeah, so 2022.
Well, the reason
Wait,
for that is the
wait,
original series
did she say two
said
decades or 3 decades?
three.
Three. Okay, yeah, 2022.
Yeah, and the original series had the eugenics war start in the 90s, and
Mm.
obviously, um, it, that war with Saddam Hussein wasn't quite it. But this is my favorite episode of the season
Yeah,
so far. I had time watching this.
yeah,
And uh um there's a romance between Leon and Kirk. Um, and well, they go back to Toronto 2022, and they need to figure out like how's this all changed, and they run
mm,
into this conspiracy theorists who tell
yeah,
well, there's an attack on a bridge that
yes,
was just constructed to show it was basically supposed to be a symbol for a bridge for peace,
yeah,
really. And yeah, it was attacked. Like, we had I think you mentioned it earlier, a 9/11 type event, right?
yeah. I mean, it was, yeah. So Kirk and Lon, they sort of start off bickering, like one of those kind of situations where it's like they're, not quite working together. Then they have to start working together, and eventually some romantic feelings form along the way. All that type of stuff. Um, they they have to find a thing. I forgot what it's called, but they didn't have a thing with them because they sort of got sent to Earth quickly. Um, but
Oh
she
yeah.
knew someone who could potentially help them, and that's that new lady, that older lady that was introduced this season. Forgot her name, but she remembered where she lives
Oh,
on Earth.
Kane is a real name. Like, that's not what she's called on this
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
Girl Kane.
yeah. So they go find her and try to get her to make the thing for them, but then find out that she doesn't know how to. But she makes like a watch thing, and it works out. So it all
Well,
works out there.
they find an old watch that has the when it's in the dark before it
Yeah,
would glow,
yeah.
and that stuff doesn't last forever. But
And
um,
that watch at the very end of the episode, like she has the watch. Lon has the watch in like back on the Starfleet.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
at the
notice that.
very end, it shows like the camera pans in on the watch for like the last couple seconds, like a lingering
Well,
shot.
actually, I think I forgot because I watched this back on last Saturday,
Yeah,
so it's been a week.
yeah. So that I'm wondering if like that's gonna be a relevant thing moving forward, or what the deal is there.
I think so.
Hmm.
Like, everything is has returned somehow, and we've read some spoilers. Like, we knew like there was gonna be a romance between Leon and this alternative reality Kirk
Yeah,
through reading that news article.
yeah,
Unfortunate. I mean,
yeah.
it's not even unfortunate because um, you know, that didn't ruin anything for me watching this. This is my favorite episode of the season so far.
I didn't
I
even
believe.
remember.
Oh, see, that's the great thing for you. Like, I could say, "Oh, Justin, at the end of the Planet of the Apes, they're actually on Earth, and they go to the Statue of Liberty." And like, by the time you watch it, you'll have forgotten all that. I
So,
forgot to meet Discord. Son of a nice lady.
son of a nice lady. But yeah, I enjoyed the episode. Had a very big moral dilemma at the end because they find out
And
that
I think,
yeah, the actual thing they were trying to stop, like from changing the timeline, is protecting Khan essentially. Protecting. So wait, is Khan Canadian?
um, I guess so.
Yeah,
I mean, he's there.
yeah.
I
So
don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Mm. But yeah, it's a child version of Khan. The
Well,
conspiracy theorist that we meet earlier in the episode comes to find out that she's actually trying to kill Khan to prevent, genocide. Essentially, the old "Would you kill baby Hitler" argument.
yeah.
Um, and she ends up shooting and killing this, presumably killing this alternative version of Kirk. Sad moment there.
Yeah.
Big sad there with
Sad
with,
news.
with the romance budding between him and Lon. Uh, and yeah, so big
Think
moral situation there.
think about it as alternative reality, Kirk. So we still get T.J. Hooker in the future.
Yeah.
He still ends up on Monday Night Raw with Jerry Lawler. Actually, now that I think about it, so when Kirk had been on Raw before, like actually 30 years before, or just about now, I remember before, like about the time the Romulan lady gets started. That's ridiculous, but
Mm,
yeah, really enjoyed the show. Really enjoyed the reveals. Yeah, so the Romulans had sent, or I don't know if they sent her back or she did it by herself, but the thought, or whatever team she had, but the thought was, they were gonna do a first strike on Earth, and Leon and Kirk will stop that from happening.
yeah.
The idea was originally she was gonna blow up a nuclear reactor and obviously killing Kirk, alarm security. She wasn't gonna do that, so her
Yeah.
bet she paid attention. She got information from a computer simulator that, well, if you kill Khan, if he's dead, then there's not gonna be a war where the two sides fight each other, and Earth ends up stronger and works with the Vulcans.
Yeah. And Lon was given a choice there because she had a device with her that basically like made her immune to changes in the timeline. So
Well,
she could have let Khan die, and it wouldn't have like prevented her from existing because like he's her descendant. Um, but she ended up choosing to save baby Hitler, and
I think before we move on, I think really quick is she loved Kirk, and even if he doesn't remember her, it's probably better to go to the whatever future. But yeah, we'll talk about baby Hitler
yeah,
in a bit
yes,
for
we
sure.
got baby Hitler chat today.
I think though it's time to talk about the people who sponsor you.
Yes, the people who sponsor Gopher and Tuck in such a way that you could go onto their site w.gg and put in the promo code GopherTuck, all one word, no and you can get 10% off your order, or click that link right over there. It's in the
Probably
description if you're watching
seen
this on YouTube.
you and probably everyone seen that already got my W here.
It's right there. Just take a scoop, put it in the water, mix it, boom, there you go. You got a good drink, good healthy energy drink. Yeah, it's
Today,
not like soda.
yeah, today I'm drinking the
There
Galaxy Grenade Watermelon Guava and Lime Explosion.
you go, Galaxy Grenade.
And when I ordered it, I put in the Gopher and Tech code and got 10% off.
I do
I
like
thought,
that it's like it's a more healthy version of energy drinks compared to other ones, but then it has names like Galaxy Grenade and Grandpa's Denture Water.
yeah. Well, I figured to try do these commercials different and explain, or rather go over the list of ingredients W
Mm,
has, and you can go to this website they have, w.gg, and go to our formula, and here they have listed whole coffee fruit extract, a patented all natural ingredient derived from the whole fruit of the Kaffa arabia coffee plant. It enhances the production of a powerful protein in the brain called brain um derived neutrophonic factor BDNF is the acronym.
Mhm.
In a clinical study, neurofactor increased BDNF by 143%, and they have a source. Caffeine is derived from the seed of the coffee plant. Coffee increases alertness, focus, and energy. L-tyrosine is an amino acid that is an essential component for production of important brain chemicals. Um, L-tyrine, tyrine, I'm probably saying that wrong, is an amino acid that boosts energy. L-glutamine is a amino acid that fuels two of the brain's most important neurotransmitters, gamma aminobutyric acid. I said I probably said it wrong, just trying to pronounce it. Or
Yeah.
I should be able to pronounce it out. Glutamic acid. L-citrulline is amino acid that improves blood flow. Vitamin B3 is a vitamin that is regarded as being important for general good health. Vitamin B6 is an important vitamin that, with many functions, it may produce brain health. It may promote brain health. Vitamin B12 is an important vitamin that has lots of jobs like making DNA, red blood cells, for example. Vitamin C is an important vitamin for the body with many jobs. It helps protect your cells against the effect of free radicals.
It's much better than the
Like
big C.
the big C?
Much better for you as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Tell him, Snoop. Tell him, Snoop.
Mm.
I'm dead naming them again. Well, well, we started something that we unfortunately had to skip last week. Is Star Trek Book Club.
Yeah.
You read a book. You
I
read.
I read some of it, very little. I wasn't able to get much done because I was dealing with the eye situation from last week. My dog's sick now, but we got Star Trek Voyager Ragnarok Book 3. Um, as you can see from my this thing bookmark, forgot what they're called for a second. That's all I got,
Mhm.
But also let me just share real quick. This is the
Yeah.
bookmark here. Is that smut? Jesus asks. And then on the back it
Mm.
says, I don't watch porn, I read it like a fucking lady. So that's my bookmark. Um,
Yeah.
and so I read the first couple chapters. Was all I was able to get done because of circumstances, but it was my introduction to the characters. So it starts off and uh, there was like some type of situation had happened. They're kind of out. Like several of them apparently died. Several of the crew members died and were replaced with other crew members. They were in. They're kind of like lost, like away from where they need to be. They need to be saved, and
Mm.
they mentioned some new characters, like the new cast that were on board to take over for the ones who had passed away. There's one whose name I think is Neelix, who I kept misreading as Netflix, so that was fun. He basically tells them like, hey, they're so they find out that there's this like beam that could potentially take them back to where they need to be. But in order to get there, they have to go directly through this thing. And this Neelix guy tells them that this thing they're trying to go through is basically a war zone between these two different people, two different groups. And he's like pleading, like, please don't take us through that. But
Wow. Mm.
Captain, what's her name? Jane something or other.
Janeway.
Janeway is determined to go directly through it. And Neelix is supposed to be like their new like guide essentially. So she's
Yeah.
just completely ignoring what the guide says. But as far as she
Yeah,
knows,
and
like
he
this might
well,
be the
I would
only way for them to get through to get back to where
sorry
they
to
need to
cut
be.
you off.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we met all these characters in the caretaker, but obviously we met all of these characters in the caretaker.
Yeah. But I mean, they did a good enough job for me, like to introduce me to characters like Neelix. Like they explain like what he looks like, his personality, stuff like that. Just a couple chapters in, and I got like a decent feel for the guy. There's also
So
like a girl who's apparently a full grown woman, but like she's also like her species dies at like 9
yeah,
years
she won't
old.
live long.
Yeah, so she's only
Yeah.
like a year old, but like she's matured to essentially adulthood for them. Mm.
So really quick, like before we move on, it seems like you were able to just you've never read the
Yeah,
caretaker or watched Voyager, but you were able to get into this book and know what's going on, basically.
yeah, like it was clear. Like I don't know exactly what happened that led to them being stranded where they are, but they did a good enough job of like making me realize what the issue was and what they need to do to try to get out of that issue.
Would you recommend anyone they love Star Trek?
Yeah,
I got
if you're
your
into
friend.
Star Trek and you like to read, yeah, I would recommend it.
Thank you, Gopher. Hopefully, I think what eBay's telling me is my book is at the post office right now, so I'll see you later. It won't be open for another hour and a half. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, though, recommended by our main event man.
yes.
I get it today.
Hopefully.
But well, not. But it's time for our new favorite game, Trek or not Trek.
Yep. So for those
Um,
of you who don't know, Josh will hit me with three essentially plot lines of Star Trek, whether it be from a TV show, from a movie, whatever. Um, but those plot lines could have actually happened, or they might not be real. They might be something that he just made up. And there's no specific amount. It could be all three are true, all three are made up. It could be some mixture, and I
mm,
have to guess if something if a plot line is made up or if it's true. If I get two of them correct, I win. If I get two wrong, I lose. I've lost so far
mhm.
both. I think both times I got one correct and two wrong. So not off to a great start. So what is my reward for getting them right, and what is my punishment for getting them wrong this week?
If you win, you get to go next door and hang out with the homies. If you lose, you gotta do spring cleaning.
Okay, okay. I think I probably prefer the second thing. I don't really know my neighbors, but okay.
You'll have a fun time when you
Fun
win.
time hanging out with a 45-year-old Mexican man who doesn't speak English.
I would love that. All right, first episode summary.
Okay.
In the episode, well, I won't give it a name. In this episode, the USS Enterprise encounters a mysterious anomaly that traps the ship in a repeating 24-hour time loop. Each cycle begins with the crew receiving a distress signal from a nearby planet and ends with the ship's systems falling, failing catastrophically. As the loop continues, Lieutenant Spock begins to retain memories from previous cycles, allowing them to piece together clues about the anomaly's nature. With each iteration, the crew collaborates to alter their actions slightly, hoping to break free from the loop. Eventually, they discovered that the anomaly is a remnant of a failed temporal experiment conducted by an ancient civilization. By sending a specific signal at a precise moment, they managed to stabilize the temporal distortion, freeing the Enterprise from the loop. And and it, I didn't make it obvious, but this is a Strange New Worlds episode,
Interesting.
or maybe based off Strange New Worlds rather.
Okay. All right. So one other thing to note is that as Josh mentioned last week, he flips a coin to decide whether so it's not there's no strategy involved in like how many are true and how many are false. He just flips a coin. Uh, well, the whole like the beginning where it's like I shouldn't say the name of the episode. That kind of leads me to think it's true, but you could be throwing me off.
Well, you could have seen the list of the seasons and like, oh, that's not a thing.
Oh, that's
I
also
didn't think
true.
about that.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Or if it was a name of an episode, like, well, that must be one. I
Well,
didn't think
okay.
about that
This
until just
is tough. Okay, I'm gonna go with fake. I almost said false, but fake. Either one.
you got it.
Hey, there's my allotted one correct answer for this week.
There we go. Number two.
All right.
All right. USS Enterprise intercepts a stolen space cruiser, the Aurora, which is destroyed during the pursuit. The crew rescues the six passengers, a group of space hippies led by Dr. Savan, who are in search of the mythical planet Eden. Among
Hmm.
them is Ari- Arilina Gutelian, a former acquaintance of Ensign Chavik. Well, I can say Chavik because I watched that movie. I made it easy. Dr. Seven, a former scientist, is found to be a carrier of a dangerous bacterium and is quarantined. His followers, however, manage to free him and hijack the Enterprise, setting a course for the planet they believe to be Eden. Upon arrival, they find a lush planet, but the vegetation is acidic and the fruit poisonous. Dr. Servan refuses to accept this reality, consumes the toxic fruit, and dies. The remaining
Hmm.
followers are rescued and taken back aboard the Enterprise.
Hmm. Interesting. Crazy ending there.
I like it.
See, everyone, like everyone, whether it's true or false, they all feel like real Star Trek episodes. They all seem like something I could actually
I
get.
actually thought the last one wasn't great because there's only a time related episode this season. So
Mm, mm,
I thought I was like, well, what I did was, all right, what if we had a Groundhog Day episode, but there was
yeah.
already a time traveling incident.
uh, no, I'm gonna go for the two for here. I'm gonna say false again.
No,
Mm,
let's see. Sorry, it's going up too fast. This is a real Star Trek episode titled "The Way to Eden."
mm. Well, there you
From the
go.
original series, well, obviously, because Chavok's there, he might have been in the animated series. I
No.
never seen it.
All right. I think
Well,
every
actually, yeah,
I think every week so far I've gotten the first one right and then gone back to back getting the last two wrong. So
yeah,
let's see if
actually.
it happens. See if it happens this week.
Well, number three, while investigating a spatial anomaly, the USS Enterprise D is enveloped by a particular energy field. Upon regaining consciousness, the crew find themselves on an unfamiliar version of the Enterprise bridge, surrounded by strange equipment and individuals observing them. To their astonishment, these observers refer to themselves as a production crew and claim that the Enterprise crew are actors in a television show called Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I'm
As the
saying true
crew
already.
navigates As the crew navigates this bewildering reality, they encounter individuals who bear an uncanny resemblance to themselves but go by different names and possess different memories. Data, intrigued by da- I feel like I'm speaking so fast that I'm speaking terribly. Data, intrigued by the situation, delves into the nature of this alternative universe, uncovering that their existence might be part of a scripted narrative. The episode accumulates in a philosophical debate about free will, identity, and the nature of reality. With the help of the production crew, the Enterprise team devises a plan to return to their own reality, leaving behind a realm where fiction and reality intertwine.
Mm. All right. I could be wrong here, but I'm saying true.
I made it up.
Because like there's the reason why my mind immediately was like this is true is because there was I think two different shows. I think Futurama might have been one. Two different shows that had like this concept, and I felt like they were references
Oh,
to Star Trek. Like I thought that they were referencing a Star Trek episode.
oh no, I stole this from the Twilight Zone.
Mm. maybe that's what those other two episodes were referencing then.
Yeah, like I know Futurama has referenced the Twilight Zone several
Yeah.
times.
Mm. There you go.
What's the other show?
I don't remember, but yeah, I'm
Maybe
not
you're
sure.
thinking of the Cosby Show when he goes off set at the end of every episode.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the other one was, but it was something. But there we go. Once again, I continue my streak of getting the first one right, and then back to back wrong answers. But guess I'll be doing some spring cleaning. Uh, won't be hanging out with my neighbors today.
Yep, unfortunate.
Mm.
Well, it's time. Like I didn't really want to talk about this, but I had nothing else to advertise. See, we're this is such a terrible podcast. We're like, oh, we have nothing to advertise to these people.
We're gonna sell these guys. Mm.
But let's just make it fun. So my friend Ed Lee went to change.org and he made this pension support Josh Hadley and Robert Shields at Alaska Green Party and demand public discussion. We're being hit by some adversaries, and I don't want to complain, but one of our party officers has turned and decided he's going to sign a pension to get rid of Robert and I, which is really frustrating
Mm.
because this party, any of these places that do meetings like the city of Kotzebue, the Congress, the Green Party of Alaska, we have these bylaws or rules, and there's a process to get rid of people. And our secretary decided to not follow it, and he'll just sign a pension. Like, it's frustrating when this guy supposedly has power, but um, he doesn't even know how or doesn't care to look at the bylaws to see, well, how can I change the party? No, he decides to.
Mm.
He gets angry and decides to take over our social
Mm.
media accounts,
Yeah.
and then sign this pension rather than follow the rules of the party. Uh, this is a frustrating attack for us. I mean, you know, there's I mean, I'm just bringing this up to talk about it. Uh, y- n- but if you'd like to sign the pension, go for it. We still have the same amount of signatures as last week, six. And at first, this really frustrated me, but I had to remember, like, people don't really care about the Green Party, so whatever
Mm.
happens with this isn't really gonna affect my reputation, honestly.
Mm.
At least in Kotzebue, like, I say, "Oh, I'm with the Green Party." Like, who? Like, the Green family here?
You're one of them greens.
uh,
Mm. Yeah, there
but
you go. Yeah, so go do that. What's the link? We need the link for that. Let's see. See
I'll
if we can.
copy and
Yeah,
I'll paste.
there you go. It's
There it
there.
is.
It's
But
the link.
even better than that, have some Fred Wardos.
There we go. There we go. Got some Fred Waters in the chat. I'll put that link again in the description of the video, like I did last week for the YouTube upload. And yeah, you can go ahead, click that, show your support for Josh and Robert, and there you go.
Solidarity forever. All right. Is it time
It's
to
time.
talk about your favorite character? Not baby Jesus, but baby Hitler.
Maybe Hitler. So this has been sort of a long-standing debate in the world in general for years now of would it be ethical to go back in time and kill Hitler when he was a baby to prevent, a great many bad things from happening years later. Which is relevant to this episode because that was essentially the theme here. The Khan wasn't quite a baby, but he was a kid. He was probably
Yeah.
like 8 years old or something like that. Uh, so
Uh,
John. So what do you think, Moose? What are your thoughts on this?
I feel like it puts too much weight into an individual. I listened to Ralph Nader's podcast. He's my hero, by the way. He made this point that he doesn't like superhero movies because the story gives the story is we need this special people to get together or by themselves make something happen. It's sort of like when I was listening to Stefan Molyneux and Voss debate, and Voss was asking him, well, why do we have the society we have today? And Stefan's answer was, well, we got these magic men who and these are his words. I'm not speaking verbatim. We got
Yep.
magic men who could make things happen. And I mean, Voss is a communist, so what he said was, workers have work produce a lot of value to in Goss to the point we have um I mean, I have my own disagreements with Voss, but Stefan was obviously way off. Um,
Mm,
Killing Hitler, like he is really bad in history, but it's like he came into the Nazi movement. There's all, I mean, even today, like even though Hitler killed himself, thankfully, but anyway, we
Best thing
still
Hitler
have
ever
a lot
did.
of, yeah, there's still a lot of anti-Semitism.
Mm,
And I mean, these are tropes that he latched onto. I mean, not just anti-Semitism. There's
mm.
transphobia.
There's a lot of that that's being reflected in American politics today.
Yeah, and I mean, as bad as Hitler was, Germany got a lot of its influence from the American South, like Jim Crow laws and
Mm,
whatnot. Like they took a lot of like legal. Well, they what's the word? They took a lot of legal inspiration from
mm,
what was happening in America at the time, and it was to the point where Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he decided, we can't just grab people and put them into prison and make them do forced labor. Otherwise, we're just like the Nazis.
yeah.
And I mean, and something I like to point out is um, concentration camps weren't invented by Germany. The first concentration camps were invented by the British Empire for for the Indians. And
Mm,
whenever people say what talk about the Holocaust, I do ask which one. We do need to remember that when countries like Spain, Britain, Portugal came over to the United States, 14 million people were killed. Um, I don't want to get too far into the American Holocaust or whatnot, but we can't just put so much weight into one personality. Like, um, I went to a meeting today, or no, I'm sorry, Wednesday. Why did I say today? Wednesday night, and um, I feel like they put too much weight into Trump. Like, if someone killed Trump, would that solve all of today's issues? I don't think so. But what do you feel, Justin?
well, so I will preface this by saying that I am not a historian. I'm not very informed on a lot of stuff. But Hitler, like, I don't know. You mentioned the thing like if you kill Trump, would that fix anything? And that's not the case. Obviously, that wouldn't. I think it would fix some problems, but obviously, like, I mean, JD Vance becomes president then, like, uh, but like I don't know who was below Hitler on the pecking order. Like I don't know what would have happened with that in regards to that, and I don't know how things worked back then. I don't know how things worked in Germany. Um, obviously the idea of you kill Hitler and you stop the Holocaust from happening is good, but like I don't know, what the exact extent of it would be if you killed Hitler. I don't know exactly, but
Well, I think the most dangerous thing is you kill Hitler and someone competent actually does it instead.
yeah.
Because like Hitler wasn't a great strategic military mind, and he probably lost the war to because he told his generals, "You don't ever retreat," and they
Mm.
would say, "Well, that's a legitimate military strategy. What are you talking about?"
And like how did Hitler get his ideology? Right? Like would the same stuff that inspired him have inspired someone else to do what he did had he never been around to do it in the first place? Um, as far as like the moral idea of like assuming killing Hitler would prevent the Holocaust, right? Like assuming that that's the case, the moral dilemma of like, would you be okay with killing an innocent child in order to prevent such a thing from happening? I would say yes. I'd be okay with that, but as like a last resort situation, like if there's a way where you can kill Hitler later on, still before the shit happens, but like by the point where he's already, then yeah. But or if you could go about it in a way that didn't involve killing him as a child, like maybe changing his mind or something. I don't know. But as like a last resort, like you kill Hitler as a kid and the Holocaust doesn't happen. Yeah, I I think because I mean obviously a great many people died during the Holocaust, and that includes many innocent kids. So I don't know. And then of course you have like the idea of like of all those people who survive, maybe one of them ends up becoming a new Hitler. Like there's just a lot
Well,
of yeah.
I was thinking like imagine if you kill Hitler and the Holocaust doesn't happen, you take away a lot of the justifications for creating Israel and
Mm,
Palestine as two separate countries.
yeah, there's
Obviously,
definitely like there's definitely a lot more to it than just you kill Hitler, people don't die. Like there's a lot to it, um, that I'm not nearly uh, I'll just say smart enough to really
well, it's good
comprehend.
to have the discussion. I
Yeah, yeah.
mean,
Um,
and Hitler is actually probably the perfect person to speak about this because
mm,
he is the one guy who you could say if um he wasn't around, maybe World War II wouldn't happen, but
mm,
in the European theater, like Japan was obviously China was invading China, took
yeah.
over South Korea. Oh, they took over Taiwan, which wasn't Taiwan yet, or some people would say it's not Taiwan, it's the real China. But anyway, um, I don't know. Maybe the Holocaust will happen anyway, though. We
Mm,
don't know, but it's good to have the discussion.
yeah.
Like I don't see the point in killing baby Hitler. The I think that's to say that is saying it's an uncaused cause, like free will. And I'm in the no free will camp, so I sort of see things as well. It's turtles all the way down. The world's
Good
held up
movie.
by a turtle, obviously.
It's a good movie.
Well, what's holding up that turtle? Well, it's another turtle. And well, what's holding up that turtle? It's another turtle.
Mm, a lot
And
of turtles.
unfortunately, like even debates like this, that's where it sort of all goes to. Was
Mm,
it an uncaused cause, or is it turtles all the way down?
yeah.
And speaking of that, was Gopher and Tuck an uncaused cause, or is it turtles all the way down? So if you go back in time and you get killed, would it be Bert or Smurf and Tuck, or
Probably not. Probably not Bert and Smurf. I don't know. Maybe he would. Maybe Tuck would be more involved in his own the solo channel. Had the Gopher and Tuck never happened. Maybe he just wouldn't be doing YouTube. I don't know. But
maybe it'll be Tuck and Golly Gopher?
could be the case. Uh, I I this podcast probably wouldn't be happening. I don't know. I
No,
don't know.
no, I mean, well, there was another version of Trek in the Future, so I mean, even still, there's a Trek in the Future that
Yes.
existed before this one.
But not this
I like,
specific one because I don't know. I mean, maybe whoever possibly replaced me in that timeline would have done it. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, but I mean, but could have been like could have been TJ. Could have been TJ and Tuck. Who knows?
speaking of PJ, like he's on the Baldur's Gate deal. I can't believe you guys killed us. You killed us. I mean, we're talking about killing. You killed us, man.
Like us. Who is us?
That's the name of the brain thing, the brain dog.
Oh, right. Right, forgot about
I was
that, yeah.
hoping
So,
my
so Baldur's Gate 3,
no,
that is happening. Well, someday each week, one day a week, we stream it live. That depends on, availability. It was Thursday the first week, I believe, Monday, and then it's going to be Monday again this week, this upcoming Monday. So we'll be streaming it live. Me, Jeff, and TJ. And the VODs go up every Sunday at 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So the VOD for the third stream will be going up tomorrow, and yeah, we've been having a very violent playthrough. Yeah, this is my first time playing, and
Yeah.
you know that they both played the game. Jeff's played the game a bunch of times. Like he's done a bunch of playthroughs. CJ's done a few. So I'm sort of guiding the way this time. Like they want me to make the decisions, and I've been making the decisions, and it hasn't been
Good.
working out very well. But we like I think in the second session we like massacred an entire town. So
Hell yeah.
you know, um, but we're hanging on. We're missing out on a lot of early game experience points apparently because I'm killing some NPCs. But you know, we're
Hey,
doing
you
stuff.
don't know.
I'm
You're
I'm
going in blind.
I'm trying to stay in character as Kriv the Dragonborn, and
Hell
you know, I'm doing things that Kriv would do, and Kriv would do a lot of bad things. Okay, he's not a good fella.
yeah. I appreciate the commitment to the role play.
Yes, yes, and but yes, that's going. I don't. I'm assuming that's going to be going for a while because I believe it's a long game, but. I mean, maybe we'll end up killing half the characters, you know, and then finishing the game halfway through. I don't know.
You know what? Someone's gonna ask like in the game, should we go back? Should we go back in time and kill Crib?
You know, there you go. Kill Baby Crib. That's gonna be the new one. Um, so that's happening. Obviously, GM Battle also on Sundays. Sundays at noon Central Time. That GM Battle continues going up with Gopher, Tuck, and TJ. TJ, a little double dose of TJ on Sundays. Uh,
Yeah,
Doing that, we got some Pokemon, Split Fiction. We just
I don't know how this thing works, but like, do you have to do it on your end?
yeah, I gotta do it on my end. Boop, data screen. I'll be there for a minute. Uh, yeah, Split. We actually just finished recording Split Fiction. Finally, we finished the game in the recording. Great game, by the way. Wonderful. I'm going to be playing it off screen with Mink soon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because it's one of those multiplayer deals, like all the ones made by Joseph Fares, however it is pronounced, where only one person needs to own the game. You can play online with somebody else for free by giving them. The game gives you a code to give them, and then they can play for free. So I'll be playing that with Mink just in our spare time because he was wanting to play it, and yeah, really enjoyed that.
So no make Monday though.
No Make Monday. Not yet. Maybe one day. Maybe one day the Make Monday will return. But at the moment, he doesn't have a computer, so he can't really record it.
Oh, it's PlayStation's a computer.
Well, yeah, but like that's actually he recorded the gameplay off his PlayStation before, but the issue is recording his audio, his microphone.
Ah.
That's a and
Just tell them to go outside and yell real loud.
being able to okay, being able to upload it. But okay, we can get rid of the TJ screen. Boop, boop. I said boop. There we go. Yeah, all that stuff's happening. It's all good stuff
On YouTube,
on the
Twitch.
YouTubes, on the Twitch. You know, and we're in May right now. We're an odd number month, but next month is an even number month, which means probably another chess stream.
I'm thinking. I don't want to do a chess stream in June. I'd rather do it on my birthday in July.
There you go. So sorry, sorry to all of the queer people who are looking forward to it.
We might. I'll just have to think about that.
Oh, Pride Month.
We might. Maybe we'll do something for Pride Month. I do have to figure that out, or I get to figure out
Get to
Pride
figure it
Month.
out. Get to figure
I'm
it
thinking. I'm thinking about Pride Month in Juneteenth, though. I
Juneteenth.
definitely had a lot of fun doing that chess stream my last birthday.
out. True. Yeah, we
But-
definitely. What is it? What is your the 17th? Is that your birthday?
The 19th.
19th. I always get those two mixed up,
And
but it's yeah. So that's a Saturday. Yeah, we would be doing it probably the same night as we do a Trek in the Future earlier in the day.
I was actually thinking about that
Yeah.
too.
Little double dose of action there, and then we could potentially do something of some sort in June for Pride Month. Either way,
I might,
we'll be here.
I might just do a chess stream in June, and for my birthday, play I'm getting my tri-dimensional chess set, so I might just play with that during my party.
Hmm, yeah. But all right,
Anyway, though,
plenty of Gopher and
all
Tuck
things to
stuff.
look forward to. All things to
Yes,
look forward
yes.
to. Really quick, we got some news. Star Trek
Yep.
is finally getting its
Well,
due at a major California theme park.
there we go. All right, how do you want to go about reading this one?
We'll we'll take turns between ads. Universal
Okay.
Studios Hollywood has boldly gone where no other theme park has gone before, doubling down on feverish fandoms that are surprisingly overlooked. The theme park has debuted a new event called Universal Fan Fest Nights, building on the the legacy of Halloween Horror
Mm,
Nights. The After Hours events goes beyond traditional concepts and is dedicated to fans of sci-fi, fantasy, gaming, and anime.
mm.
Back to the Future, Jujutsu Kaisen,
Kaizen, I
Dungeons
believe.
and Dragons, and more represented in-world immersive experiences. How do you say it?
I believe it's Jujutsu Kaisen, but I'm not entirely certain. I've never actually seen it. That's been on the list for a while though.
Mm.
One of the biggest properties of the inaugural event has stood the test of time, spanning nearly 6 decades. Star Trek, the science fiction series debuted in 1966 and is built on its legacy with multiple TV shows and films, including the fan favorite Star Trek The Next Generation. It's since become a global pop culture phenomenon, but despite Trekkies showing up in droves to fan conventions and the success of the former Star Trek The Experience attraction in Las Vegas, the franchise isn't often present within theme parks, despite its potential. Got two despites in that sentence. One of the few examples, both of Universal Studios' domestic parks formerly offered Star Trek Adventure, a short lived live action show that thrust park visitors into famous roles aboard the USS Enterprise. But that's changing now with the debut of Star Trek Red Alert, a headliner attraction that's exclusive to the debut event. Hmm.
As the fandom continues to evolve with the new series and a diverse set of actors lending their talents, the lasting power of Star Trek is not that surprising. The franchise has never shield away from timeliness, relatable messaging, and themes, which have been incorporated into its storyline since the very beginning.
Like killing
There
baby
was a
Hitler.
young Yeah, there was a young army chaplain who told me that she learned from Star Trek was hope, courage, and that you are never alone. Actress Nana Visitor told SF Gate Visitor portrayed Niars in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Went on to explore the role of feminism and how women have resonated with the franchise in her book Star Trek Open a Channel, a Woman's Trek. There are lots of kids who watch Star Trek who feel. I almost was thinking, should I do a girl voice? But there are lots of kids who watch Star Trek who feel like their families don't get them, or they want to do something that no one around them in their community does. And Star Trek goes here. Are there possibilities in the future?
Hmm.
The
Actor Will Wheaton, known for his roles in Star Trek The Next Generation and The Big Bang Theory, was first introduced to Star Trek as a fan in 1975. I think that Star Trek has endured for nearly 60 years because it is relentlessly optimistic, Wheaton told SF Gate. Star Trek was born in a moment of terrible strife at the end of the 1960s. Next Generation uh, came of age at a moment of terrible strife in the late 1990s. Now I don't have to describe what's going on, and now we have Star Trek again coming back in to remind everyone that it doesn't have to be this way. To remind everyone there is a place for you. Star Trek Red Alert is a walkthrough attraction that uses a concept similar to the houses found at Halloween Horror Nights, Sounds to Horror. Small groups are led through the story driven maze, moving from one room to the next. The set design embraces special effects, including audio, visual, and multisensory techniques.
It's an immersive theater with the team of character performers playing out each scene as guests explore the USS Enterprise, NCC 1701D. So I think that's next generation
Hmm.
or closer to that. Visiting familiar places like the sick bay and the shuttle station, following the events of Star Trek Picard, which begins as a run of the mill tour of the ship, quickly turns into utter pandemonium. A mysterious enemy has been detected, causing the warp to destabilize, and the guests must escape immediately. Familiar pointed ear actors, just like the series, create an authentic sense of urgency as guests are propelled through the storyline. The attraction accumulates in visitors going aboard the iconic bridge, pure catnip for any Trekkie, and uses the actual 1980s set recreated for Star Trek Picard, and also seen on the screen. The mission is a success, and what could be best described as a fever dream. A blue-faced Andorian escorts the survivors of the bridge into the transporter room to safely beam them back home, or at least to the theme park. Star Trek isn't the only franchise to receive its star turn at Universal Fan Fest nights. There's another headliner in Back to the Future, Destination Hill Valley, where nostalgia instantly has a chokehold over you, utilizing the sprawling set from the original film. That's interesting. Moving along, like Star Trek fans continue to mourn the loss of its former Universal attraction, but this too breathes a new hope for those who have been holding out. Blah blah blah. Blah blah.
Like
I'm
what?
so excited for everyone who loves Star Trek to experience the bridge of my Enterprise, where I grew up, in a most immediate way that's deeply meaningful to them. To know that this is the thing that I was a part of so long ago, that is going to be part of my life now until I decide that I don't want to be, generally matters to people in a way that brings them out for something like this. Wheaton concluded. Space may be the final frontier, but only time will tell if Universal has a potential new enterprise on their hands. The inaugural Universal Fan Fest Nights runs on selective evenings to May 18th.
May 18th. May 3rd.
Oh,
Soon. It's very soon.
well, I had one other thing added to our format, but oh my god,
We could
I'm
just
trying to get back.
we,
I'm trying to get back to the screen and my computer
just a real
X.
yeah, we could just do a real quick thing here. The question was, will this Kirk be back? The new Kirk, the alternate Kirk that Lon had a romance with here in this episode. I assume no. I assume he's, you know, with the fishes.
Well,
But
I just know the question is there.
yeah, the question. But I think that we might see a little something happening with her and the original Kirk. You know, the Kirk we already knew.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I think he will be back
hmm, interesting.
somehow, some
Interesting.
way.
I mean, it is Star Trek. Could happen.
Imagine it's him, but he's much older, so it's William Shatner playing him. uh,
You know.
Leon, you gotta move beyond me. Guess this. She'll probably still love him.
Yeah. True.
Anyway, this was a fun episode. Hopefully my books are at the post office, and I'll get them if they are. We'll see. But
Yes.
just wanted to look here next week. Go to IMDb season
The
two.
next episode, let's just go ahead and boop. We got Among the Lotus Eaters. Okay.
Hmm.
No, I'm liking the fit for Pike here in the picture. Liking that. Returning to a
Tragic
planet.
memory. Yeah.
Returning to a planet that dredges up tragic memories, as Josh was just saying, Captain Pike and his landing party find themselves forgetting everything, including their own identities, as he confronts a ghost from his past. Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that.
Directed
This
by
has been a great
Eduardo
episode.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Yes. All
Well,
right.
this has been a great episode of Checking the Future, and I'm looking forward to doing this again next week. Everyone, if checking us up, check us out on YouTube, and have a good rest of your day. Long live. I keep doing that wrong. Live long and prosper.
Live long, prosper, and uh, eat your corn dogs.
Eat your corn dogs.